Happy holidays, Coach.
What's up, everybody? Happy holidays.
Can you tell us about, I corresponded with the Pac-12 about this. They said they're going to have extra refs on hand now at conference games because of that situation up in Oregon and what it's going to look like going forward.
To my knowledge, look, I've been worrying about my team. I've noticed that there was 4 guys assigned to the game, is what I noticed. So, it's just a tough situation, Ben, because there's only so many officials. And what happened at Oregon, if it happens tomorrow, you just get new officials and play the game Friday. If it happens Saturday, you just play Sunday. The problem was it was on the 23rd, and both teams' players were all, we'd have had to get officials. By the time we could have got officials to Eugene, it would have been Christmas Eve. And that really, to me, that wasn't an option. For my players they had already planned their Christmas situations. So to me, that wasn't a logical option. So, but yeah, I know that their Pac-12s, look, they're doing everything they can. Just a tough spot for everybody. It was just real bad timing on that deal.
Tarek, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I noticed, a 12-day layoff since you played. I saw Utah's got a 13-day layoff. Just talk about having not, I know you guys are getting after it in practice, but having not competed in the game, worried about that at all, or getting back into the flow of things at all?
Well, the biggest problem is the off days, Tarek. You're off the 23rd because we were at the arena to play Oregon, but we didn't practice. Guys got a couple shots up, and then we called the game off. So you're off the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, because you got to take 3 off. But you're off on the day because you don't play at Oregon. So that's 4 in a row off. So we come back, practice the 27th, but then we have to take 1 day off this week. So we had to take Monday off. So we went 5 out of 6 days with 1 practice. So we've really only had 3 practices. We've had 3 practices in the last 9 days. Now, I'm sure Utah's in the same situation. My opinion on that is, looking around the country, obviously the Big Ten played a lot of games over Christmas. I don't agree with that at all. I think the kids should get to go home. That's the spirit of the rule of giving them 3 consecutive days off in a row, was to give them off Christmas, not to give them off December, whatever. It was so they could be home for Christmas. But anyway, it's obviously 2020, it's crazy. So, Utah's in the same situation. But I do think my experience tells me that what hurts you now in timing and conditioning, because you took, you're off 6 of the last 9 days going into tomorrow, I think hopefully you reap the benefits later in the season. Where you're, obviously this would be barring a shutdown, where your guys got the chance to get some rest. There is kind of like an all-star break, so to speak. So hopefully it'll help us later on that we had 6 out of 9 off, later on in our season where it really counts. But concerned about timing, concerned about conditioning. No question about it. But so is Utah. So they're in the same boat.
Tracy, go ahead.
Hey, Mick. How you doing?
What's up, Trace? Happy holidays, buddy.
You also. Hey, in looking at your offense, it looks like you're doing some things differently this year compared to last, just a little bit more structure, maybe a little more sets. What would you say you're doing differently offensively this year?
Well, we're passing the ball. We got a lot more ball movement and player movement. We're using Jalen and Cody in the high post a lot as facilitators. Now what happens, last year you don't know who you're going to play. You're going to play Alex or you're going to play Cody and Jalen together. now that we basically know that, we're playing 4 out for sure, sometimes 5 out, but we're playing 4 out. And that all off season, you can prepare. The hard thing last year was trying to figure out how to win with the personnel, having never coached them. Not sure who was going to be able to play. That was a part of what took us so long to hit our stride last year. Where this year, knowing, we didn't have the off season to work on it, but we did obviously work as a coaching staff, and studied a lot of teams that play 4 guards. In our mind, Jaime and Chris are guards. Jalen Clark's a guard. So even though those guys are probably forwards to us, anybody that's a face-up player, they can dribble, pass, or shoot as a guard. So in our mind, knowing going into the season, it gave us more time to implement offensively the things that we thought would be best for our team, to spread teams out, have more ball movement, have more cutting and player movement, and really teach it from September 21st on. And it matters, as you can see in our Ken Palm offensive ranking. It definitely matters. That and guys are a year older. That helps as well.
Looking at this Utah team, what do they do well? They look like they're a pretty good defensive team.
Yeah, I think they're right. Their efficiencies are around the same on both sides of the ball. They're always well coached. They're a team that if you look at, I'll give you I don't have it, but you probably, if you have their stat sheet, they have an unbelievable stat on their sheet. Their turnover margin. They're top 5 in the country, plus 8 or 9 in turnovers. It's mind-boggling. Now, it's obviously a small sample size of games, but still, I think they only have 40-something. Their opponents have 90-something. It's really amazing, their turnover margin. Now, they're minus on the glass. They've struggled a little bit on the defensive glass, but they've really excelled in steals, and they take care of the ball. So I've never seen a team this plus in the turnover situation. I don't ever recall playing anybody that's this good at that. So we're gonna have to take care of the ball the way they're taking the ball away from people.
Mike Regalado.
Hey, Coach. Kind of going back to the talk about having some time off. Last year in 36 days to start the season, you had 13 games, 10 non-conference games. How is that different now, preparing going into Pac-12 play, and as you were getting into facilitating that rest, trying to figure out what are the best times to go and to give them a day off? What's the difference, and is it better for you?
Well, the kids, they want to play games, Mike, and you can't blame them, right? I mean, they've had 3 games canceled on them. One of those got canceled early, so we were able to practice that day. I think, it's so everybody's got such different things that they've dealt with, right? I mean, we've had a few canceled, but we haven't, knock on wood, we haven't been shut down. So we've been able to be on our regular schedule for the most part from a practice standpoint. I think that, none of this is beneficial, Mike, as you guys would all agree with. I mean, the kids are trudging through it. Look, they are thankful they're playing. This is their life, man. And they're doing an unbelievable job of dealing with it. And, I think the hard thing is for a lot of us out here as coaches is, if you're going to have a great year, if you're going to compete for your conference championship, you've got to coach as though there's no pandemic and there's people in the stands, and, you got to hold your team accountable and to a high standard. And that's the way we do things. And like I've told the guys, it's, that's what we're building here. But then the human side of you, and you stop and you're sitting by yourself as a coach and you realize, how much this stinks for these guys. You're so, because what happens is, like, I'm watching Utah film of us playing Utah last year, and there's fans in the stands. You're watching different games. I'm showing them some highlight clips of some things from the past today that I wanted to show them, and games of the past years. And there's sold, like today we showed them a clip of a game, and the game was sold out. And I'm trying to focus them on the clip, and I realized like they were like, look at that crowd. And they were like, man, that place was sold out. It was going nuts. And I could, that's why I said, I mean, man, I shouldn't have showed them that. It's almost, that wasn't right, because you realize how much they miss that stuff. But so I don't know. I don't know if it hurts you or helps you. I know that, for the kids, they're getting to play. And, we can't, my line to really answer your question is nothing that happens to you, you can't use it as an excuse. So it's a great metaphor. I'm always trying to teach these guys about life. And, there's going to be a lot of things happen to them in life that they're going to have to deal with. And, you're going to have to fight through it and show character. And, things like work ethic and character and dealing with adversity are the things that are going to get you to where you want in life. So, I look at it so I try to hire great coaches that care about kids as well, that we're their last opportunity for somebody that they have to listen to, teach them about this stuff. Because when they're out of here, the pro coaches, they don't give life lessons. So unfortunately, this is this is a terrible one for them to have to deal with, but we're not going to use it as an excuse. So I don't know if it's good or bad, Mike, is my long-winded answer. Whether we're playing a lot of games or less games, I really don't know. I know we're not going to use it as an excuse.
Let's go back up to Ben.
Apologize about earlier. I had an unstable connection. UCLA is affiliated with a world-class medical facility. Has there been any discussions about getting the vaccine for your players?
No. Now there may have been that I don't know about, Ben.
Okay.
I would say that we would, my opinion would be for all of us that we need to be in line behind the people that that medically need it, that are medically at risk, whether it's their health issues, then frontline workers, the people at the hospital that are working every day. We need to wait just because we're playing basketball doesn't mean anything. We need to be, we're probably all last in line, to be honest with you. So that if they came to me, I would say the nurses should get that stuff before us.
Tracy.
Hey, has Mac Etienne been on campus enrolled and practicing with you?
Mac is here. Today is his first day out of quarantine. So he's actually out in the gym right now during our practice. It's all, today was his first day. So his first weightlifting session in, he's getting some shots in and some footwork stuff in with Coach Savino, some cardio stuff, and just trying to get him back where his body moving again. He's been locked down in guy had Christmas in a dorm room by himself. Terrible. Talk about bad things. Bad things about a pandemic, man. Great guy. We're glad to have him.
How much had you seen him play before this? I mean, obviously with the dead period, you didn't see him as much as you normally would.
Yeah, so the last time we were out would have been, obviously, so I'm getting my years right, July of 19. It's the last time I saw anybody really play from a recruiting standpoint. Would have been July of 19 at some point, probably down at my guess, he was with Coach Terrence Williams and the PSA Cardinals on the Nike circuit down probably at the Peach Jam.
And physically, he's everything you remembered he was?
Mac is a skilled guy, Trace. He's got great hands and footwork for a guy his size. Max, his development will be of his body. He's got timing, so he's a very good. He's an effective shot blocker. Getting his body, ready for the rigors of the college game. that's the big, getting, I'd say that's the number one area that he needs to develop. But he's a skilled offensive player. He's got a very soft touch. He's got great hands, great footwork, good feel for the game. Where a lot of big guys are, they're the opposite, right? They struggle with feel for the game, but they have great size and strength. Mac's he's much more of a skilled big man.
All right, last couple questions. Let's go back to Tarek.
Coach, sorry if you had kind of talked about this already, but the guys going to like home for Christmas and just what you told them about being careful, I'm sure, and just kind of talk about what that conversation was like and then coming back on campus, or did they not go home?
Well, most 90% of our guys drove home.
Okay.
Nobody got on a plane. And with the same talk we have every day. I mean, you got to be careful who you're around, Tarek. I mean, the guys understand it. Knock on woods. We've been fortunate since September 21st on our return. Obviously I talked about the more that they're going home and their families have people. If your family has people come in from out of town for Christmas, you need to be super careful. So I added a few adjectives and I said, it might be smart to wear your mask when you're at home. If your family has people over for Christmas, if you're around more people than, your immediate family, all the stuff like that, common sense stuff like that, but that none of our guys had to get on an airplane.